Okay. We live? We're live? We're doing the thing live? Can y'all hear me? Hopefully you can hear me. Okay, let me share the stream out. Sorry I started this like an hour late. Um Usually when I'm late it's just like because I was doing stuff or like I was busy. Uh that wasn't the case this time around. Literally I just finished my homework for the week and I was like, well, I got nothing to do since I like finished all my stuff early, so let me let me go clean up my bookshelf. So so for the past like hour and a half I've been like cleaning out my bookshelf and yeah, no, dude, just it hit like it got to like what 11:15 and I was like, oh shit, like I'm supposed to be streaming. So I have to like put my room back in order and like, actually start getting ready to like talk to people and like stream. But yeah, no. How y'all doing today? How's life? Happy New Comic Book Day. A lot of cool stuff came out this week. I don't have the stuff that I bought offhand, because I like put it places. Well, no, I have one of the things that I bought over there, so let me just go get it. Hey, Supreme Omega, how you doing, pal? What'd you pick up this week? Yeah, let me know. In the meantime, yoink. Okay, so, big book on my docket this week is Rogues. Just getting right the fuck into it. The Rogues by Joshua Williamson and I keep forgetting the artist's name. Limix. Literally, their name is just Limix. They're like Zendaya. They have one name. They're that cool. And this it's colored by Matthias Lopez and Jason Wordy. I don't know these people, but they put out a really great comic. It's kind of weird. I don't want to say radically underwhelmed by Joshua Williamson's run on The Flash. Oh, sorry about that. I guess that's my my circuitry telling me to not say bad things about Joshua Williamson's run on The Flash. I don't think it's bad. I just was underwhelmed by it. As I have been for the past several years with Flash runs. But no, man, reading this, I don't know what else to say, man. If this came out before Joshua Williamson's run on The Flash, I think I would have been like super ultra like dick hoppy and like a little more defensive of his run on The Flash, in the same way that like I'm super ultra needlessly dick hoppy on Nick Spencer with his run on The Amazing Spider-Man, because I was so much in love with Superior Foes of Spider-Man. But yeah, no, this is great. This is like a really fun, if you haven't read issue 1, which I highly recommend you do, this is a 3-issue miniseries about the Rogues in the not too distant future, where everybody's their lives are fucked, like Mirror Master, the second Mirror Master, McCulloch, I think his name is. I keep getting them mixed up. I think McCulloch's the second Mirror Master because he's the junkie, right? But yeah, McCulloch is like in rehab. Leonard Snart is just getting his balls busted by the people that he works for at like a boxing company. Not like fighting boxing, but like they actually they box shit up and on. Yeah, so The rogues kind of like work these mundane, shitty jobs, or they're just like broken down drug addicts, or like trying to live normal lives amidst recovery. But it's not working. It's just everything sucks. Their lives suck because they were career criminals for most of their adult lives. And Leonard Snart, Captain Cold, hears about this heist, or a potential heist. No, let me rephrase that. Leonard Snart hears about this treasure in Gorilla City. And he's like, all right, well, all of our lives are shit. Let's go on this, like, last hurrah big heist, and they're gonna, like, try to steal this massive fortune from Gorilla Grodd. And that was the setup in issue 1. I really liked it. And issue 2 just kind of continues that steam. It keeps the ball rolling. Let me show you some of the art here too. The art's like nothing to pull your pants down and balk at either. Like this is gorgeous, man. This is really good. Again, I've never heard of these people. I've never heard of Limix before. But after seeing this, I really hope to see Limix on like a Flash book one day, like a proper Flash book. Yeah, no, just I love everything about this. Let me show you another like dynamic page that I really liked. I mean, all of them are really good. Like here too, and the coloring by Wordy and Lopez is like absolutely phenomenal. Like look at this. Like, you got to go from like these cool colors over here in the in like the foreground, and like you go like to the background, and like everything bleeds into this like warmth from the sunset. It's glorious. I'm absolutely loving this comic. It's really fun. It's really dynamic. I also like, okay, well, I think Williamson's interpretation of Gorilla Grodd in this is interesting. It's not quite Grodd, in my opinion, but that's also the point, because that's being critiqued by the other members of the Gorilla Society. I think this book is really fascinating. This could potentially go down as like one of the, you know how Marvel is known for their like sprawling, ongoing epics in their like series, like the soap opera, like the drama, the ongoing drama. And DC is known for, the graphic novel. I think if issue 3 sticks the landing, this could be viewed as, one of the greats in terms of being a prestige DC Comics graphic novel. I think this could definitely be in that camp. Same as like, damn, I said that, and I can't think of like any prestige DC graphic novels. Okay, so like Batman Year 100 by Paul Pope, or like what's another one? All-Star Superman. Okay, maybe not to the degree of All-Star Superman, but like definitely in that vein where it's like put on a pedestal. Or like fuck. I rearranged my whole bookshelf, so I'm like trying to see what I got up here. I don't. Everything's different. Fuck. Or like JLA Earth 2. That's like technically like a graphic novel, because that's not a part of Morrison and Howard Porter's main run on Justice League. That's like a one-off thing that they did, or not they, because I think it was just Morrison, because Morrison worked with Frank Quietly on that. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for issue 3 of Rogues. Again, just really, really good stuff. Josh Williamson's continuing to like blow my mind. I say that as I skimmed through Death of the Justice League earlier today. Weird contrast. Very weird contrast. That meme where someone's like, this has soul, and this is soulless. That's how I felt about Rogues versus Death of the Justice League. I didn't read it in depth, but I just skimmed through it and I was like, oh, this is soulless as fuck, bro. I mean, I don't want to be like a dick. I mean, I'm sure that like Joshua Williamson has a story to tell, but bruh, this has soul. Death of the Justice League. Less so. Let's see. Tristan, what's up, buddy? How you doing, pal? Tristan says, "Sup, mystical green beanie. I had a light week of books, but they were huge books." Well, that's what she said. I got Amazing Spider-Man #1, Justice League #75, and Batman Beyond the White Knight #2. Fuck that. Okay, White Knight #2 came out today. I didn't read it. I didn't buy it. Oof. Well, that's my fault. That was my oversight. How did you like Curse of the White Knight? Not Curse of the White Knight. Beyond the White Knight, #2. I liked I liked everything that Sean Murphy's done in that like White Knight universe up to this point. I thought the first issue of Beyond the White Knight was a little underwhelming, but I mean, first issues are first issues. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, Supreme Omega says, I read The Good Asian, the DeMatteis and Buscema Spectacular Spider-Girl. There's a Spider-Girl book that came out this week? Or unless you like got a trade. And if that's the case, I thought those were written by like Del Falco, but I could be wrong. If I could be wrong, I'm like, I probably am wrong, because I get Tom Del Falco and J.M. DeMatteis mixed up a lot. Who'd have thunk? Like two really standout Spider-Man comics creators of the '90s, both have like the D with the lowercase e name, or like surname. But yeah, no, I like this stuff a lot. Josiah Haynes, how's it going, bro? Doing all right, brother. I'm doing all right. How you feeling, man? What'd you read this week? I'm curious to know. I'm curious to know what other people shoved in their face and stimulated their brain bits with. Supreme Omega says, I hope Marvel invests more in Sam being Captain America in 2022. Honestly, for me, it always bothered me that the heroic embodiment of America has to be a white guy from the World War II. I agree with that sentiment. I mean, I don't personally have that problem, because it's like a fictional universe, but no, I definitely see that critique, and I get it. I understand. And that's also like why I think it was such a... Oh, fuck. I think my camera just froze up on me. Did my camera freeze? Okay. It says you guys can hear me. It's just my camera was being dumb as fuck. Give me 1 second. Okay, and... Yeah. Not that webcam. That one. There we go. Okay. Hey, there we go. Okay. Now I'm visible. Sorry, I don't know why that happened. Weird. But, where were we? Damn it. Okay, yeah, so Captain America. Yeah, no, so, like... that's like one of the things that kind of like broke my heart about that whole Secret Empire era for Captain America. I really like the idea behind Sam Wilson being the 21st century Captain America. I think that idea has a lot of weight behind it. I think you can do so much with that concept. It's just, damn. Nick Spencer, what were you doing? What? And I've said this before, like, you know, half jokingly, but like, that Sam Wilson Captain America book read like Nick Spencer trying to approximate black people, having never talked to them. That's really how it read to me. And I don't want to be a dick when I say that, because that sounds very dickish, obviously. But, like, yeah. And I really hope that this time around, the Sam Wilson book doesn't have that problem. Because that's, like, the big thing that turned me off from that Captain America series. And why I just kind of stuck with the Steve Rogers book, frankly. I also just thought the Steve Rogers book was more interesting, if I'm going to be honest. And I also feel like if you're going to do a Sam Wilson Captain America book and a Steve Rogers Captain America book and like do them simultaneously, it might be good to have different writers on hand to do those. I think, at least. But yeah, no. Here's to the future being bright. Let's see. Supreme Omega says, for me, Marvel should bring back David F. Walker and have him write Sam Cap. I can see that. David F. Walker, I don't really vibe with him a lot, but I know a lot of other people do. And I recognize that I'm in a minority, and I would honestly be okay with David Walker like coming in and like legitimizing for, you know, a wider audience, a wider demographic, Sam Wilson as Captain America. I think that could work very well. I would like to see that. That's a good pick. See, Supreme, you should be an editor. You should be an editor. You're smart. You got such a big brain on you. Good brain. You're smart. I take public transportation. I see people do that all the time. I'm not sure if you guys do, but I see that all the time. I think I've perfected it by now at this point. Tevia, hey, what's up, Tevia? Tevia says, why is Marvel so insistent on destroying Peter Parker and Mary Jane's relationship for garbage? Well, that's because the editors working at Marvel Comics don't like Mary Jane Watson. Or at the very least, that's just like the conclusion I've come to. The more likely scenario, though, which would be like very depressing if it was, is that a lot of the current editors working on Spider-Man just don't get Spider-Man. There's a video by the YouTuber Perch, and Perch talks to editors like more so than I do. He's like actually in the industry talking to people, so he has like a better feel for this. But something he said like really kind of scared me, and it's something that's scary because it makes sense, because I've spoken to people who tangentially know people in the industry, and like are friends with them, and like kind of, I would assume, vibe on the same wavelength in regards to like comics, at least. I've heard a lot of the same takes that Purge kind of listed in those videos, or that video much rather, which is people just there's like a weird fundamental misunderstanding of what the character of Spider-Man is all about. You know, I think a lot of people just want to see Spider-Man suffer. Like, they just like seeing Peter Parker get punished. Like, he's the whipping boy. And I mean, that's an interpretation, but like I mean, to a certain degree, I can kind of understand that train of thought. But I don't know, man. Like I've always felt like Spider-Man isn't punished so much as he is. He's just living life. You know, life is pain. With, you know, or the very least, okay, no, let me take that back. Life isn't pain, but Peter Parker is a pessimist. And there are people in the world who view the world as glass half empty and glass half full. Peter Parker views the world through the lens of the glass being half empty. And he reacts to the world accordingly. That's what Spider-Man is for him. Spider-Man is him coping with a lot of the stressors in his life. And it's like an escape for him to like get away from all that and just kind of sort of be the big brother to the world that he always wished he had. So that's kind of how I see Spider-Man. That's how I see Peter Parker, at least. And as for like all the problems in his life, it's the soap opera thing. You know, it's that ongoing like there's always drama, but I don't think the drama necessarily has to be like just endlessly tearing into this man's asshole through his urethra. Like I don't think you need to do that for Spider-Man. Peter does that to himself already. Just present real challenges and like believable challenges, and have Peter react to them in that glass half empty kind of way. And then you have yourself a Spider-Man story. Like that's, you know, that's how I feel. But no, I think a lot of the current editorial staff, they just have this mindset of the character where take off that shirt. It's time for the. I don't have a belt with me, but like it's time for that whip. It's time for that whip, bad boy. Let's go. Punished. All of my aggression, all of the pain and anguish that I've been building in my soul, unleashed on you. Crackaka. So I think that's just the train of thought that a lot of people have about the character. Again, I can see where that comes from. I think it was like John Romita Sr. who might have said this. No, this would have been like one of the guys from the 80s who said this. But there's a consummate Spider-Man writer. Might have been Lin Wein. Said that no matter how bad my day is going, I know that Peter Parker's day is way worse. So maybe like that's been interpreted by like the people working at Marvel now in regards to Spider-Man. They just kind of like have that view of the character, but it's not one that I share personally. And from the reactions of a lot of people who have read Amazing Spider-Man number one, I'm not alone in that sentiment. Supreme Omega says, also, have Steve Rogers be the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. again, because nobody likes comic Maria Hill. That's not true. I like comic Maria Hill. I do. When she's written by Matt Fraction. Everybody else who writes comic Maria Hill, she's just a senseless bitch for no reason. She feels like a young Amanda Waller, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Um, and it's funny. I used to hate the shit out of Amanda Waller. Not Amanda Waller. I mean, yes, I do hate the shit out of Amanda Waller. She's a terrible character, but like in the best way possible. She's one of those characters that I love to hate. But Maria Hill is it didn't click with me until I read Ultimate Avengers, which is what I think Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Millar were kind of going for. When you read Carol Danvers in that, so like everything after Ultimatum, when Carol Danvers is the new head of S.H.I.E.L.D. and she's trying to like wrangle all these superhumans together, and she's kind of incompetent. I don't want to say incompetent. She's not Nick Fury. That's the thing. She wants to be the top cop, but she is not Nick Fury. She is overwhelmed. That's what Maria Hill is. Maria Hill is... She's not Nick Fury. She's overwhelmed. She's doing the best she can, but she's overwhelmed. And that was my big takeaway from the character in reading some of that Ultimate Universe stuff, or like going back to a lot of that Ultimate Universe stuff. And then reading a lot of the Matt Fraction Iron Man material where she's like a major character. So I like Maria Hill. Just it depends on who writes her. Because some writers know how to write that character and some writers don't. But no, I agree. I would like to see Steve Rogers go back to being the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. I thought that was a great status quo. I don't know why that got done away with. Well, no, I do know why that got done away with. It was Secret Empire. And now S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't exist anymore. So, I don't know. But, yeah, no, man, I like Maria Hill. Tevia says, Amazing Spider-Man #1 broke me. Well, that makes one of us because I didn't read it. I got through, like, I got through, like, maybe the first half of that comic, and I just put it down. I put it down. I couldn't do it. Supreme Omega says, Zeb Wells supported one more day. I can see that too. Going off the leaks, I can definitely see that. Again, a lot of editors, a lot of writers working at Marvel currently, they love that idea of punished Peter Parker, and I don't buy it for a second. I don't think that's what the character represents or like should be kind of used for. And I hate using that like term should, because it's a creative medium. You can kind of do whatever you want with these characters. They're paper people. They're immortal and like malleable, but still, there's a purpose behind them. And I don't think the purpose behind Peter Parker is to simply be punished or to be a whipping boy or to be the rabbit from Filler Bunny, if you guys have read that comic at all. It's just a really fucked up comic about this bunny who gets like killed over and over and over again in like the most grotesque ways possible. I feel like a lot of creatives working at Marvel see Peter Parker in that light. They see Peter Parker as Filler Bunny, and I just don't think that's what the character is and should be. I'm working on a video right now where I talk about how I feel like Peter Parker from the 60s into the 2000s is all about like growth and like steady emotional and psychological progress. And how Look, you go back to the 60s, right? And you read a lot of those like Ditko, Stan Lee, and John Romita Sr. Spider-Man comics. That's not the story of a kid being a superhero. That's the story of a kid becoming a man because he's a superhero. Like you're watching this guy's evolution into adulthood, his transition into adulthood, and like learning important life lessons through his actions as Spider-Man. Like that's what Spider-Man is. And I don't know, just somewhere along the way, very recently, I think that's been lost in the character. And I don't know what that's about, but you know, hopefully, we can kind of go back to Peter Parker being a character that evolves, as opposed to just being a character who's there for the sake of the creators venting. Let's see. Tevye says, I think it's another trade for Spider-Girl, Mayday Parker. What Supreme was talking about earlier? Yeah. Tristan says, it was really interesting with Bruce escaping from prison and Terry having the Beyond suit. I haven't read number 1, but there is going to be a second print for it, and I'm going to get it on Free Comic Book Day. That's next week, isn't it? Yeah, man. I'm excited for Free Comic Book Day. Last Free Comic Book Day was like not all that. It wasn't bad, but like it wasn't explosive like Free Comic Book Day usually is. Oh man, I remember the first Free Comic Book Day that I went to my local comic shop. Damn. I think I must have gotten there at like 4:30 in the morning. No, not that early. I got there around like 6, but I woke up around like 4:30. And this was back when like I like lived relatively close to my comic shop. And I still wasn't like anywhere near first in line. I was like maybe the 15th person in line. But still, just yeah, I don't know. I miss that like positive manic energy behind Free Comic Book Day. It's really fun stuff. Even if the free comics that are being released are like absolute dog shit, like just the energy behind Free Comic Book Day is still fun. I love it. I absolutely love it. Makes me curious, like what the free books that are coming out next week are. Tevia says, frankly, I am tired of Marvel Comics destroying my favorite couple, Peter Parker and Mary Jane, for garbage. Also, whose are these kids and Mary? Yeah, whose are these kids with Mary Jane, and why is she with this Paul character? Well, you're gonna have to read like 9 issues of Amazing Spider-Man to find out, I assume. I don't know. I'm just not interested in it. I'm just not. Which really breaks my heart because Spider-Man's like my favorite Marvel character, but just I'm not interested. Tevia says, all I want is for Peter and Mary Jane to have a marriage restored, and plus have Mayday Parker, their daughter, alive and kicking in the main Marvel Universe. Well, the former I can see happening. The latter I don't see happening because Mayday is a what-if character just by default of not dying as a result of MJ having a miscarriage in the 90s. Because that's the big thing, you know. Mayday Parker existed in the main Marvel universe, and she died. She died. You know, like they couldn't carry the baby. You know. Again, talking about Spider-Man and like life events and stuff like that, and like the character being used to illustrate real world problems. I mean, all the shit around that was terrible because it's like Clone Saga bullshit, but like, I was reading some of that material just to get like panel clips for the video I'm working on right now. But yeah, no, Spider-Man comics used to be about, you know, life stuff, you know, things happening in life, and just this guy who's kind of like a consummate pessimist trying to make sense of it all. It sucks that that's kind of gone by the wayside with the character, honestly. Let's see. Tristan says, "Oh yeah, David F. Walker has done some stuff. Has done some stuff. I'm gonna try that one more time. Oh yeah, David F. Walker has done some good stuff, like his team, like his team books with Bendis, with Naomi, and Young Justice. Yeah. I haven't read that stuff. For a long time, I just kind of avoided anything with Bendis' name on it. But if you say it's good, yeah, man. Got any recommendations? I'll check it out. I've properly, like, fucking cleansed my bookshelf. So, you know, I got room. Oh, and this is like just like a piece of the shit that I got rid of my from my bookshelf. Like this isn't everything. For anyone who like showed up later in the stream, the reason I started the stream late is because I just started going through like a bunch of comics that frankly I don't read anymore, and I'm just kind of like I'm gonna sell them. My girlfriend's mom is having a garage sale, and she was like, "Hey, if you want to like sell anything, you just like bring it on by the house, and just we'll sell it." And I was like, "Fuck yeah! I need to get rid of some of this shit, like shitty comics I haven't read in a while, or like comics that I bought and like regret buying." Tevye says, "I am tired of having Peter Parker suffering because it ain't fun anymore." I agree. That's like the big problem with like Spider-Man comics past like 20 or so years. Not 20 or so years, more like 15 or so years. You know, it's okay. It's fun seeing Peter like persevere and be the underdog, but like you gotta at a certain point. It's like, okay, you can stop. You can stop beating on the man. It's fine. Just let him have a victory. You know, if the point is to beat him down to the point where he's going to like rise up and just victory fluid. Why did I say that? That's disgusting. But yeah, if the point is to like beat him down, only to allow him to like rise up and like keep on keeping on, then you're gonna have to ease up on the beating and allow him to keep on so he can keep on keeping on. You know? Just a thought. Earth 1610, Marvel and DC. Retcons, reboots, publicity stunts, business exploiters' decisions. Unfortunately, that's kind of what it's come to. And it's really funny because if you look at like a lot of the like 80s and like 90s indie material and just like read some of the interviews from around that time period, a lot of creators and editors look at Marvel and DC as like, oh, those are like the corporate fuddy-duddies. Like, we're actually doing like the real art here at Malibu and Valiant. You know, we're not like those corporate fuddy-duddies. 80s and 90s Marvel and DC. Too corporate. You know, too risk-averse. 80s and 90s DC. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh. They would have had no idea. Compare like DC in the 90s to like DC now. It's like, what the fuck? 90s DC like may as well be Image Comics. Just bizarre how time changes things. Supreme Omega says, with Sam being Cap, you can do different kinds of political arcs that you can't do with Steve for me. Captain America should always be political. Just see the Stern, DeMatteis, Grunwald, Wade, and Brubaker runs. Well, of all of those runs you've listed, I've only read one of them. I've only read Brubaker. Well, no, that's not true. I've read a little bit of Mark Waid. But, you know, I think Captain America, to a certain degree, should always be, like, political. Not a certain degree. I think Captain America should be political. The problem is you have to tell a good story with the politics. Regardless of what your politics are, mind you. I think wherever you're kind of coming from, you just have to focus on telling a good story and building a good narrative around the ideas that you wish to present. And I think that's the problem with a lot of modern comics. Not to get all like, Dad, you know, older comics were better and blah blah blah. But you know, and I say this without a tinge of nostalgia because I don't think I'm like that much older than like a lot of the people who are like watching right now. Like I don't think I'm much older than like the target demographic for a lot of comics that are coming out now. You go back to like stuff from like the 60s and 70s and the 80s, and even the 90s, you know, and even the 2000s, you know, like a lot of those comics are playing with political ideas and ideas that are ever present in the cultural zeitgeist of the day. And the difference between the comics then and the comics now is that the stories are good. For the most part. There's definitely a lot of dog shit out there. But like, you know, just, you know, again, there wasn't so much like political posturing, I feel. Like, look at us. We created a gay character, and you know, like you see that now. It's like heavily marketed. But like you go back to like the 90s, and you know, just Warren Ellis and like Frank Quietly will just drop Stormwatch like a random Wednesday. It's like, yep, here's Midnighter, here's Apollo, they're gay, and you know they fight they fight ninjas, and it's cool. Like it's just the sexuality is not a big part of it. Like it's part of the story, and the fact that like it's those characters are like lovers and they're gay, but like outside of that, it's not the thing that's marketed. And I feel like once you start kind of like marketing those politics, you start marketing those like, you know, I don't want to say agendas because that feels very like you have an agenda. I hate but when I feel like when you start marketing character sexuality or you know, who they're dating, and you know, like, oh, are they LGBTQ, or are they black? Are they in an interracial relationship? Oh, we're breaking boundaries here. Ooh, boundaries that have been broken like for decades in comics, so you're not really breaking anything. If we're gonna be honest, but you know, just I feel like when comics are like advertised as such, all it tells me is that you don't have a story that's worth reading. You didn't tell a good story. And the only thing you can lean on is trying to get like internet brownie points and a no prize. That's all I feel. That's how I feel. But I'm sorry, this kind of like spun out from the whole Captain America thing you're talking about. No, man, I definitely think Captain America should be a political book, and like dealing with like political issues. But I also feel like most superhero stories do, or most of the good ones, anyways. Let's see. Tevi Smoka says, we have ran the soap opera to the ground at this point with Spider-Man. Yeah, it depends. And he says the editorial staff needs to be fired. Well, I wouldn't go that far, because I think everybody deserves a job. But I can certainly sympathize with such a sentiment. Oh man. Supreme Omega says, I feel Disney does not care if Peter is married or not in the comics. It is certain older editors who care about Peter being single. I don't think Disney gives a shit about anything that they own. Really? Like, okay, now, it's not that I don't think they give a shit about anything they own. I think in regards to, like, some of the publishing stuff, like comics and whatnot, I don't think Disney cares. Because the money that, like, the comics industry produces in a year is probably what Disney makes in an hour. Like some of their other business ventures, like Disney World and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. I don't think Disney cares. Let's see. I hated the Amazing Spider-Man #1 because it made no sense whatsoever. Bendis Maria Hill made no sense, especially during the terrible Civil War II nonsense. I don't remember Maria Hill ever being in that book, honestly. But apparently Riri Williams makes her debut in that comic, and I forgot about that too. Tristan says, I like MCU Maria Hill because she's the likable character who likes the heroes. That's why in my Shield Academy series, she's basically a secondary teacher to the students like Black Canary and Young Justice. Oh, sweet, man. Yeah, you should definitely like try to get in touch with Marvel and like have that published at some point. Tavia says, yeah, Carol Danvers in the Ultimate Universe was a jerk. Yeah, I wouldn't say jerk. Well, I would say jerk. But, like, I don't think she's any worse than, like, anybody else in the Ultimate Universe. Carol in the Ultimate Universe is just trying to like. Again, Nick Fury disappears. He goes like the Supreme Power Universe, and then Carol is just left to like fill the void until he gets back, and she can't do it. She can't do it. But like nobody in their right mind can do it because Nick Fury is not in his right mind. He's a fucking crazy person. And that's why Nick Fury is the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. because he's legitimately insane. And Carol Danvers wasn't. Just like Maria Hill is not insane. She's just trying to keep everything in like one piece. The same way Nick Fury did. But like again, Nick Fury in the 616, just like in the Ultimate Universe, just like I would assume in every other universe, because Nick Fury is a multiversal constant, is insane. Nick Fury is a crazy person. And that insanity helps him police the world. But yeah, no, I don't mind. I don't mind Carol Danvers so much. Supreme Omega says, I also dislike the Miss Marvel mini. It's not as bad as Saladin's run, but it's still mediocre. The problem with newer Miss Marvel runs after G. Willow Wilson left is that the supporting cast gets sidelined except Bruno. I can see that being a problem. That whole Miss Marvel series is like really built on the idea of like community and like friendship and magic and all that shit, and just not doing that. Well, then you're fundamentally missing the point of Miss Marvel, right? Tevia says, I'm tired of punished Peter Parker. It makes no sense whatsoever, and frankly, it's going to cause readers to have leave the Amazing Spider-Man in drones, which I wouldn't blame them. Well, I mean, that's already technically kind of happened already. And it happens with like it happens with like a lot of characters. Like Spider-Man's not the only one. It happened with Superman. You know, in the 90s, and the character still hasn't recovered. Who else has it happened with? Happened with Iron Man. After the whole like Heroes Reborn era. Although a lot of Marvel suffered really hard after like the 90s, like Heroes Reborn and like Heroes Return and all that shit. Stuff that like I like looking back, I legitimately don't mind. I think it's like a fun like little alternate universe thing, but yeah, a lot of Avengers fans felt just kind of burned on that. And you see this happen every couple of years. Like with Superman, ironically enough, the Death of Superman like event is what killed the character of Superman. Like after Superman died, and then just magically came back from the dead because Kryptonian healing coma. Yeah. Yeah, no, just a lot of Superman fans just kind of left. They just left. Same thing with Spider-Man, you know. Although there is a grace period with Spider-Man. Because after the Clone Saga, a lot of Spider-Man fans dipped. But then, you know, they came crawling back very tentatively once John Romita Jr. and damn, damn. J. Michael Straczynski did their run on the Amazing Spider-Man. That's when those Spider-Man fans who like rage quit with the Clone Saga started coming back, and they were like, "Hey, I kind of like this. There's some cool stuff here." And then One More Day happened, and then just all of that just boom, torpedoed. And the sales for Amazing Spider-Man have not recovered since. Not steadily, anyways. I mean, there are bumps here and there, like landmark issues or issues that like tie into an event and stuff like that. But like for the most part, which is very unfortunate. I feel, at least. Let's see. Oh, fuck. Stop auto-scrolling. I hate it when you do that. Alright, well, I don't know where I was, so I'm just going to pick a random comment. Earth 1610. My favorite decade for Marvel and DC comics is the 2000s. I agree. There's a lot of cool stuff that came out in the 2000s. There's a lot of dog shit that came out in the 2000s too, but like for the most part, a lot of good stuff came out in the 2000s. Actually, a lot of the comics here that I have came out in the 2000s. You know what? Fuck it, dude. Since we're here, let's go through like this big ass pile of comics that I got that I'm like gonna, sell this weekend. This will be like the last time I'm like looking at them and like talking about them anyways. So let's see. X-Men 92. This came from like that whole era with like Secret Wars. And if I recall correctly, this whole book was, what if we did Grant Morrison's New X-Men, but like in the vein of X-Men 92, which I think is like a really interesting idea. It's also the conceit behind House of X 92, which I think is a really fun comic. Yeah, it's really fun. It's a cute novelty, but I just don't feel the need to like revisit this anytime soon. So yeah, I'm like I'm tops in this one. Goodbye. Suicide Squad Blaze. I mean, issue 1 was fun. It was fine. Issue 2 was just kind of. It felt exactly like what I'm afraid the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League video game is gonna feel like. Oh, these superheroes, they're real fuddly duddly like wankers. That's my best Australian accent. I'd make a shitty Captain Boomerang if I'm gonna be honest. But no, like it felt very like irreverent and like kind of like, oh, look at the Justice League, they're all stupid. Not the word that I was thinking of, but I'm being family friendly here. But yeah, no, like I feel like this comic just kind of felt like edgy in like in a dumb way, personally. And I like edgy. I like edgy comics. I like edgy movies, but like this just kind of felt like edgy in like a dumbass way. Art's good though. Next we have like the New 52 Batwoman series. I legitimately like this. I don't go back to it often, If I'm gonna read Batwoman, I'm gonna read, is it Effigy? The pre-New 52 series. Yeah, I'm gonna read that. I'm not gonna read this, so I'm getting rid of this. The art's still really good though, because it's J.H. Williams II. But like, still, you know, like, come on, this stuff is really cool. I just don't go back to it often. Yeah. Then there's like death metal. Like, I have like maybe half the death metal series before I just gave up on it. Yeah, no. I'm not gonna go back to this. Oh man, this is like taking shit back, like hardcore taking it back. Heroes. Anybody remember Heroes? You know, that like really kind of. I want to say lame, but I remember at the time thinking like, nah, this show's fucking great. This is like the pinnacle of superhero comic book television. And then Daredevil came along, and just, wow, okay, break my pussy, in the most wholesome way you possibly can regarding superheroes and the medium known as serialized moving pictures. But no, man, I remember liking the show a lot as a kid. This comic, though, I'm not going to go back to it anytime soon. It even kind of like catfishes you, too, because like you have this really cool Tim Saleh like back cover, but he doesn't do the interior art. I think it's because like Tim Saleh did like the art for the show, or like one of the characters in the show who was a precog who would like paint what he saw. I'm pretty sure he died like in the middle of like season 1. Yeah, no. I'm getting rid of this guy. What's next? Ooh, Irredeemable. I think this comic's trash. I'm sorry. I like Mark Waid a lot, you know, but maybe it's just because I'm like bored of Evil Superman. I think Evil Superman's such a pedestrian concept. I've just gotten so numb to it. Has anybody else gotten numb to it? Like, it's Superman, but like, what if he was evil? But he's not Superman. You know the right? Okay, like, okay. No, hold on. Let's go down this rabbit hole for a second. The thing that works with the character of Superman is that he's just a guy. Like, imagine the most powerful being in the universe. Was just raised by these like humble farmers. Grew into a humble farmer himself. But you know, because his parents were who they were, and they raised a damn good kid. Clark just kind of goes off into the world and he's like, hey, what if I like use this like weird shit that I can do with my body to like help people? Wouldn't that be cool? Like, that's the point of Superman. He's just a cool guy who likes helping people. Like all this like make him evil shit. You're missing the point, man. You're missing the point. I don't know. I'm just bored of it. Now, granted, that's the point of Irredeemable, but I feel like even the good deconstructions of that idea just are too many. It's that thing of too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, I feel. Yeah. Anyways, here we have Spider-Man Noir. Eyes Without a Face. This is volume 2 of Spider-Man Noir, which is a direct reference to the movie Eyes Without a Face, which for the longest time I didn't know, because I didn't know that movie existed. I didn't know what the... I just thought this was like a really cool, like, oh, that's like a real poetic, name for this comic. But nope, it's actually a old noir thriller film. This comic right here, Spider-Man Noir. This is what got me hip to Carmen Digiandomenico, and this is the book that like made me a fan of his artwork. So I remember like when he got put on the Flash during the Rebirth era, I was just, oh man, I was creaming a pair of jeans, man. That was just, I love his art. I still think he was a weird choice for the Flash, but nonetheless, I really enjoyed what he did with that book visually. And no, man, I really like this comic. It's really cool. It's really fun. The only reason I'm getting rid of it is because the complete collection of Spider-Man Noir came out, which collects both Eyes Without a Face as well as the first Spider-Man Noir. So this is redundant. I don't need this anymore. So fuck it. Just whoop. What else? Then there's like Nightwing. I like Nightwing a lot. I like the Chuck Dixon stuff, but okay, I might keep this. Fuck it. No, I'm gonna keep that. I do like Chuck Dixon's Nightwing quite a bit. Let's see. Sorry, I got distracted with my comics on the floor. I should be in the chat doing stuff. Fuck, I need mods. Earth1610 says, Editor-in-Chief Jim Shooter said in 2007, I don't think that they should have gotten married. I had actually planned another version, one where that wasn't used. Well, Jim Shooter is a brilliant guy, and sometimes brilliant people make mistakes. I think Peter and MJ getting married was a really good thing. Because I think the relationship is functionally dysfunctional. If that makes any sense whatsoever. I think it's people. If you saw Peter and MJ getting married in real life, you'd be like, Jesus, no, why? You two are not meant for each other at all. But as far as comics go, with an ongoing narrative and that kind of soap opera drama that the Marvel Universe is built on, no, it works perfectly fine for Peter and MJ to get together, because you get a lot of drama that ensues out of that, which we saw firsthand. So yeah, no, I disagree with Jim Shooter on that. Tevia says, heck, Young Justice animated series actually lets characters move forward, and so does the MCU. Why can't the comics do the exact same thing? Well, okay, simple brass tacks answer. It's because the MCU is the MCU and Young Justice is Young Justice, and the comics are the comics. Comics have what's the best way I can kind of say this? Comics are very in the moment. If something happens, the editor or the staff working on that title hear about it immediately, and You know, they're trying to they're fuck. You know, they're I don't know, man. It's fuck. I'm trying to think of like a good way to phrase this, but my brain is like legitimately kind of fried. Okay, here's what it is. Comics are very like in the now and in the moment, and they're very reactionary. That's the word I was looking for. Comics are reactionary, whereas you get less of that on film and in animation, because those processes just take a significantly longer amount of time to like gestate and build up. Let's see. Tevye says, I'm actually one of the few people who maintain the Clone Saga could have actually worked if the marketing team didn't take control and messed everything up. I 100% agree. You know, I think Clone Saga could have been something really good. It could have been something really special. But it wasn't. So, it'd be like that. Supreme Omega says, Miss Marvel question. How come you don't like Kamala and Red Dagger together? I feel Red Dagger's a cool character. I thought his team up with Zoe as a wannabe Miss Marvel makes me laugh. Well, my big thing with like Red Dagger is that I feel like he was introduced. Sorry, my bad. I feel like he was introduced for the sole purpose of getting Kamala away from Bruno, and just kind of go like, hey, there's other guys out there, but Bruno's the main guy we're gonna stick with. I that's just kind of how I see. I almost said Red Mist. It's not Red Mist. It's Red Dagger. Red Mist. Wow. Now I'm just imagining like it's fucking McLovin with like a pair of like panties on his face, holding like a Desert Eagle, saying, "Where they get a load of me?" Absolute insanity. God, I love Kick-Ass. That movie's fantastic. I love the comic too a lot though too. I really like the comic Kick-Ass. I don't know which I prefer. I think, per my sensibilities, I prefer the book because it's very fucked up and less rosy than the movie is. But yeah, no, I really like I really like Kick-Ass. I think that's a fun comic. I don't know how I started talking about Kick-Ass though. It's weird. Tevye says, I am numb with evil Superman. I am too, buddy. Which is why I love Clark and Lois being great parents to their son, John Samuel Kent, as Superboy with his 10-year-old self. Well, he was. Unless you're just like ignoring everything that's been happening for the past like several years. You know what? I say that, despite the fact that like I've actually been really kind of digging the current Superman stuff in comics. You know what? While we're at it, can somebody check on Philip Kennedy Johnson? Seriously, I'm worried for the guy. His back must be broken after carrying the Superman brand with his run on Action Comics. I mean, dude, that comic's really good. I think like what 1042 came out today. Bad boy. Oh man. I know all good things come to an end. I really don't want Philip Kennedy Johnson's run on Action Comics to end. His tenure has just been the most I've enjoyed that book in quite a while. Yeah. That book and the character. And again, like I said, he's carrying the Superman brand. Because what else is there? You know? We ain't got no Superman game. You know, the closest thing we have is a fan-made game on the Unreal Engine. Which looks really impressive, by the way. And I know that city was built for the Matrix specifically, but like I think that city works as like a metropolis too. I think. But no Superman game, no Superman movie. You know, in fact, if anything, this tells you exactly how the people behind Warner Brothers feel about Superman as a character. If those leaks for the Flash are true, the Flash movie that is, we're not seeing Superman on screen for a very, 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 very long time. So again, no games, no movies. Superman and Lois is like fine. It's not for me though. I'm sorry. Like I feel like I say this all the time. Superman and Lois is a very well-made show, and there's a lot of reverence for the history and the mythology of the character of Superman built into the show. The problem is, it feels like a spiritual successor to Smallville. And I don't like Smallville. Like, man, I don't care about the problems of Smallville. You know, I don't care about Superman's children. I just don't care, man. I just want to see Clark and Lois, you know, busting corporate bad guys and you know, doing the whole Scooby-Doo thing. But like as is, just like I'm not. And those actors are good, you know. The actors, especially the teenager actors, who played John and Joseph? No, Jordan. Jonathan and Jordan. I think they play it really well. It's just it's not Superman. No. It is Superman. It's just not interesting to me. Supreme Omega says another issue with the newer Miss Marvel runs after G. Willow Wilson left is that Nakia has become more and more sidelined, and Zoe is not allowed to be gay at all. She gets almost zero gay moments. Thoughts? Well, damn, bro, you got my prayers. It's hard out here. All we want is some spicy lesbian interracial gayness in our comics. Can't even get that. No, I'm fucking with you. But no, man, I haven't been keeping up with the book because after G. Willow Wilson left, I just haven't felt the need to read the comic. Frankly, But if that's what's going on, man, that sucks. That really sucks. It kind of feels like a big step back for that character and that title, don't you think? Supreme Omega goes on to say, it is sad that the Batgirl legacy is not treated with the same respect as the Robin legacy. It's not just Babs, but also Steph and Cass. Steph and Cass have been done dirty so many times. And honestly, I don't even think it's just Steph and Cass either. Or Steph, Cass, and Barbara. It's also Bet Kane. Bet Kane was Batgirl. And I really think Betty and her Aunt Kathy's influence is sorely not underutilized. What's the word I'm looking for? It's sorely overlooked. You know, maybe just because it's editors and like contemporary writers looking at it, going like, "Oh, well, that's some Silver Age crap. I don't care." But no, like the Batgirl legacy spanning back to like Betty Kane is really important in my opinion. I think it's like I think the Batgirl legacy is like one of the most important legacies to DC Comics. I think it's as important as the Robin legacy. I think it is potentially as important as the Supergirl legacy, which is also mired and convoluted and insane, but it's still valid. And I don't know. I wish a lot of those Silver Age roots, not just with Batgirl, but like with DC as a whole, was like honored more. I feel. Tevye says the Discovery merger wants to make Superman the top priority. Well, at this point, I don't give a shit about the movies anymore. Do whatever you want with Superman in film. Just make a good Superman video game. That's all I want, man. That's all I want. Tevye goes on to say, heck, Superman and Lois actually is doing Bizarro World, and that's freaking great. I saw that. I caught a glimpse of that. I think that's really interesting. I also like the way Bizarro speaks. I like the way everyone kind of speaks on Bizarro World. Everyone speaks backwards. I like that idea a lot. I think it's really fascinating. Earth 1610. I like Smallville because it was kind of like a DC cinematic universe before the DCEU, but no Batman because of Nolan's embargoes and rights issues, plus low budget sci-fi channel BS. Yeah. Although Batman does show up in the Smallville comics, though, and I actually really like his introduction in the Smallville comics. I think it's really good. I also like his dynamic with Smallville Superman. Really interesting stuff. Supreme Omega, how come you don't care about the Legion of Superheroes? And how come you dislike their connection with Clark? Isn't it cool that future teens are inspired by the myth of Superman? Well, okay. I don't hate the Legion of Superheroes, but I don't like them as the time-traveling super team that went back to Smallville in contemporary time and hung out with they hung out with Clark Kent and took him to the future where Clark then sees that he's going to grow into Superman. That's the part that fucks with me. Because I feel like once you do that, you take agency away from Clark in his decision making to be Superman. It's as simple as that. I like the idea of Superman being something done totally by free will. It's something that Clark chooses to do, and it's very difficult, but it's something that he still, you know, he knows it's difficult, but like he's still choosing to be good. Yeah, no, I quite enjoy that idea with with I I saw someone say like Max Landis in the chat earlier, and I agree with Max Landis, or I agree with like the Max Landis comment that someone put in here, but even beyond Max Landis, just like John Byrne, you know, Mark Waid, you know that idea of Clark just kind of deciding to be Superman simply because he thinks it's a good idea, not because kids from the future told him to. It's just my opinion, personally. Tevius Boca. Not just the movies, but the Discovery CEO wants Superman hopefully to be everywhere, which would then mean a Superman game and either and better comics away from the idiots. Here, man. I feel you with that shit. Earth 1610. Smallville comics are cool. It's like another one of DC's counterparts to the Ultimate Marvel. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I agree. Especially to take on Batman. That's very Ultimate Batman, I feel. Supreme Omega on Supergirl. Remember the 90s... Wait, I gotta do the voice here. Remember the 90s Matrix Earth Angel Supergirl that Peter David wrote? I do remember. In fact, I have it somewhere up there on my bookshelf. I really liked it. I don't know what to tell you. I dug it. Tevye says, "Well, I gotta go because I need sleep." Dude, I feel you. I'm fading myself too. Earth 1610 says, "How is it that Linda Danvers, Supergirl?" Oh no, it says, "Wow, it's Linda Danvers, Supergirl, another forgotten DC Legacy character." Well, that's redundant because a lot of DC characters that are legacies are redundant and forgotten. Tevia says, hopefully this means that we can finally have a good Superman animated series, or maybe bring back Superman Family animated series. We were supposed to get that a long time ago with Clark, Lois, and John. Well, I do know for a fact we are getting a Superman animated series in the vein of stuff like Owl House, Steven Universe, and all that. So we're getting that. It's just I don't know when we're getting that. Is what it is. And Earth 1610. Mystical Green Beanie. I'm just curious. What's an apolitical person's comics look like? I don't know. I don't think anyone is really all that apolitical. I think there are people who have political ideologies and aren't extremist. Like, they don't take things to the extreme. But I think very few, if any, people in comics or who are, like, interested in comics are 100% apolitical. Maybe I'm wrong, but again, uh, mm, um, I don't really. I guess this makes me apolitical, even though I'm not. Um, I just want the story to be good. I don't care what your political idea is. I don't know. I don't care like what you're trying to push. I don't care what ideas you're trying to work through in your head. Using these comic book characters, all I ask is that you do it in a way that's like not completely retarded and in a way that breaks the character fundamentally. You know, that's how I feel about politics in comics. Yeah, like if you want to have politics in your comics, go for it. But like, just make that shit good. Just like anything, you know, just make it good. Supreme Omega says also on Evangelion and also on Evangelion, thoughts on Rebuild. Do you feel it was a good final word on Eva? Well, I haven't watched the latest one yet, all the way through, but I know how it ends. Personally, I like the idea behind it, but it's not really my. I don't know. The Rebuild's not quite my cup of tea. I think they're legitimately good, but it's just not my thing personally. And Tevye says, "I'm going to bed, Nightman." Dude, I'm gonna do that too because I'm tired as fuck. Guys, I am. Wait, hold on. Okay, before we go. Earth 1610 brought up something really funny. What happened to that Marvel now? What happened to that Marvel New Warriors reboot that everybody memed to death online? Well, you answered your question. It got memed to death online. Sorry, your question's interesting. I'm really tired. You know, I haven't seen any word on the New Warriors since that announcement. I still think that's like one of Marvel's most disliked videos. Period. Just absolutely hilarious. Oh, and Earth 1610 says, "I'm hyped for that Ultimates 2 video." After that, after I finish editing that Spider-Man video, that's hopefully gonna go up tomorrow. That's when I'm gonna start recording my lines for my Ultimates review. I'm gonna start doing that like really soon. But yeah, guys. In the meantime, this is great. I had a lot of fun. Sorry, I'm so tired. And sorry I started this late. Again, I was clearing out my bookshelf and I literally just forgot. I forgot today was Wednesday. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for chatting with me. Thanks for all of us like indulging this like whole silly ass thing. This comics are great. You know, I love comics. I love talking about comics with you guys. It's really fun and cool. And yeah, until next week, stay safe and adios, nachos. Adios. Okay, do that again. Adios.